Hello, everyone. What is going on? No live this week. Nope. I'm actually doing a pre-record. I'm gonna get to hang out today with Miss Linda.
Hey,
Hey
hey,
there.
hey.
How you doing?
I'm
So before
doing
we get
great.
started, good. I'm so happy that you were able to join. We were having some technical difficulties, but we are good now.
It's all
So
good.
first of
Yeah,
all,
good to be here.
let me go and introduce myself. I am Yolanda. Where am I at here? I'm always trying to like check and make sure that I have everything ready. Yes, I am Yolanda. I am locating cozy, and this is a broad chat. So, yes, it is right now. Well, today we're recording on a Tuesday, and I have been up and about for hours, and I'll share what's going on in my world in just a minute. But before we get started, please do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that whenever I either go live or I upload a post or vlog, you will be notified. So I appreciate it. Please and thank you. Okay. And so, Miss Linda, before we get started, I'm going to ask you all the questions and be all up in your business. But I wanted to first take the time to say one thank you and also just to ask you what's going on in your world, what you've been doing,
All
simple, just jump
right.
off for today or this week.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and chit chat with you. That's going to be fun. What's going on in my world? Well, we just hosted Thanksgiving. So every year we rotate in my husband's siblings. So it's either my husband, his sister, or his brother. And we go to Wisconsin or College Station or here in Houston. And so this year it was us. And so we had about 20 plus people at our house and it was fun. It was fun.
Okay. All right.
So
Well,
we're
that's
recovering
nice.
now.
She's like, they
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But we're still eating a lot of leftovers and that makes me happy.
Oh my goodness. The funny thing was because my daughter, I may have said this before, at first she was like, I'm gonna do Thanksgiving at my place. And before that she was like, maybe you should just do Thanksgiving at your place. And I was like, oh, you're going to what? You're gonna cook over at my place? She's like, no, you'll cook. I was like, no, I
Mm-mm.
won't. No, I won't. Um, so we didn't do it. Yeah, we didn't do anything. We actually, Kayla and I, because it's not a holiday here, of course. So
Right.
Kayla and I actually went and did hot pot. We went to a hot pot restaurant where they have the
Oh,
broth in the middle, and then you put your meats and all that stuff right there in there. It's so good. Yeah.
that's fun.
Yes, that was our afternoon, and then we did a little shopping. It was cold, but yeah, it was fun.
Okay,
So,
cool. I
um,
like it.
what's going on in my world is I just did my first photo shoot.
Whoa, look at you.
Yeah. So it's for like social media content and for the website that I'm building up. But there is a wonderful young lady that was here a little bit this summer, and then she left, and now she's officially moved back here to Zaragoza. And we were talking, and she does some photography, and so yes, we did a whole. I've just felt so special. I mean, I
Oh,
changed out, and this was something I was wearing,
I
but
love
because
it.
it's cold outside. But yeah, I did my first little photo shoot. Actually, to me, it was a big deal. But yeah, and we took some inside, and then we went out and around the neighborhood here in Zaragoza and found some great spots to, yeah, just take some candles.
Yeah.
So we're actually supposed to go possibly because I'm headed to Portugal at the end of this week. Thank you, God. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we're supposed to when I come back, we're going to get together again and do a night shoot because Zaragoza is just lit up right now with the Christmas decorations and everything. So we're going to do a
Yeah.
night shoot. Hopefully, right after I get back, but we'll see. So yeah,
I love it.
I'm
Oh, I
getting
can't
the
wait to see
spirit
those
done.
pictures.
I know it's
Oh
like, oh
man,
wow.
that's so cool. So so cool.
So one of the other things that I like to always ask the women that follow me on this YouTube channel for Locating Cozy is, how are you locating your cozy? So I'll start.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Go
yes, the
ahead.
whole thing is, she's like, so the whole thing is, what are you doing to put yourself first to bring joy into your life, not for somebody else, for you to be happy. Um, and I think it's extremely important that we um, have a narrative that says it's okay to be selfish and put yourself first, because I think overall it makes you a better person to for yourself and to be around other people.
Mhm.
'Cause you're just like
Absolutely.
always giving selflessly and not thinking or not considering yourself and putting everybody else first. You're draining yourself. So what are you doing to make yourself happy, to bring yourself joy?
Yeah.
And I thought I had put my phone on do not disturb, and I have not. So hold up. Let's go ahead and tell people to quit contacting me. There we go. Okay. So, what have I done? And actually, this kind of falls in line kind of with our topic, but I have just gotten super, super organized because I have so many different things going on right now
Mm.
with locating Cozy, with me trying to get my accounting services, get myself out there for that. So I have more constant work and income
Yes.
coming in. And then just overall, just, just taking Spanish lessons and all these things. And I was like, I've got to get my life together. And you try different platforms and you do all this and you're like, oh, I don't like that one anymore. So I
Mm.
actually got super organized, which I just feel a calm and I feel productive now because I
Very
have on
good.
my Google Calendar, like, okay, from this time to this time, you're going to be, working on, whatever said project is. I have like 5 different breakouts. And
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
actually clicked. So I created like a constant on my Google Calendar, like blocks of time. And then on Asana, I went in and said, okay, for this project, and it's just linked
Mhm.
into my Google Calendar for each
Right.
event or,
That's right.
each task. And it's just helping me a lot. I've gotten so much done.
I
I'm like,
love
wow,
it.
this is great. So,
I love it. Yeah, that's making my planning brain happy. That's what you were
see,
describing it. I was like seeing it in my head. I'm like, oh yes, the connections and
yes.
all of that. I love it. That's
And I
fantastic.
still, the crazy thing is because I do this, but in order to keep the visuals everywhere, I have it on my Google Calendar. So I just
Mhm.
automatically, and I have my Google Calendar like an icon right there when I open up my laptop. So it's
Marvelous.
immediate that I can just
Yes.
open up and see like, okay, here's what's on the schedule for today. But I also still, okay, I'm a little cuckoo. I know it's okay. But I also still write it down. Like, so when I
Yes,
get up in the morning and I look to see what's on the schedule for the day, I actually write
that's
it in
right.
my planner. And I still have
Yes.
a little whiteboard that I'm like, okay, let's just go ahead and put it there too. I don't know, it just makes me feel, I know it's a bit much, but it's working for me. But the
Yes.
first step was definitely getting organized in my Google Calendar to say, this is what you're doing. Like on these days, this is what you're doing from 9 to
Good.
11. And
Yes.
I have a client I am working also, so that starts
Mhm.
at like it's well 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock U.S. time, but that's like
Mhm.
3, 4 o'clock here where
That's
I'm
right.
at. So
That's
I
right.
I just have my day planned out, and it feels good, and I
Oh
feel like
man.
I'm not so stressed
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I see it very
Yes.
clearly. Like this is what you're
Yeah.
working on today.
I love it.
So,
Yes. That makes you feel so like organized, productive. Like you said, yeah, I love
mhm.
it. Very
Yeah, it's like a
good.
piece. Like, girl, you did that. I can see what I'm doing. And not just
Yeah.
like, not just like, oh, I think I got to do this and then go squirrel and then start doing
Yeah.
something else. I'm having dedicated time.
Yes. Like all over the place. Yeah. Okay, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this.
Yes,
No.
exactly. And I
Yes.
fight because sometimes I'll still kind of catch myself trying to do that. I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
you will not. This is what this time is set aside for. So, how are you locating your cozy?
Oh man. Okay. I have a specific example, and this is something that like I had to switch from mommy brain to individual brain. Usually, when I go grocery shopping, I like to do it by myself because I have 4 kids and it's too much bringing them with me. And I usually like get to the end of the cashier and get them chocolate or a little treat from the cashier area, like where you have the
Hmm.
expensive chocolate and all of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get myself a treat. and nobody else. So I got
Ah,
me
I
those
love it.
Kinder Bueno. I mean, I love Kinder Bueno, but I usually get them for all the kids. Like I get like a 2 pack, so everybody has like one thing, and I maybe will get one square if somebody wants to share. But I'm like, you know what? I'm getting two, and I shared one with my sister-in-law, and I said, "This is your mommy time," and I let her have it,
Oh,
and I kept one for myself, and I had my mommy time with Kinder
that
Bueno.
is great. Oh my gosh, that is so. Just to have that, I don't have to always get candy. If I get candy, doesn't mean it has to be for the kids. Sometimes it could just be for me and
Yep,
me.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. It didn't have to be big, but it was just a special treat because I was like,
Yes,
okay, this is going to be a stressful week and all of that. And I just want to have a little something to myself. Why not?
that is awesome. I love that. I love that. Yes. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Linda, please
Yes,
do
ma'am.
tell us about yourself. Give us a little intro about you.
All right. Well, there's a short and a long version.
Okay.
But so I'm a wife. I've been married for 12 and a half years now. And I'm a mom of four little kids. So my kids are 10, 9, and the twin are 7. So I have two boys and two girls. And we live in Houston, Texas. I've been in the US for the past 20 years. I came here for school and I stayed here because I met my husband, found a job, and started a family and all of that. And I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central Africa, but I was born and raised in Morocco. And now with my family, we are planning to do a repat trip, a Black Sit Exodus, however you want to call it. And we're planning to
Mm.
move back to Africa, specifically Cote d'Ivoire, West Africa. My husband is from Cameroon originally, so we're going into neutral territory.
Okay. I know that y'all have been going back and forth about this because he had wanted to, yeah, he was like ready to go back to Cameroon, right?
Yes, yes. Technically,
Okay.
we're still going back and forth, but I think that we're like 90, 80%, I would say, um, sure about Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, well, I'm trying to see. I'm gonna go ahead and ask. I was like, at first, I was like, let's have a build up, but I'm just gonna go ahead and ask.
Okay.
Do you have a possible date in mind yet?
You know,
But when you're ready to possibly make that exit.
technically, no.
Okay.
Technically, it's 2025, and we want to
Okay.
do it before the school starts, so before September 2025.
Hmm.
Now, one of my, I don't remember which personality test, I think it's the strength quest or something. One of my thing is that I need um, to project things. I need to plan things in advance. And my husband is not
Hmm.
like that. He's like, we'll see. He's very practical and very pragmatic. He's like, we'll see as we go. But for my own sake and sanity, I have to know, even if it's a fictional date, I have to have a date. So I asked him, um, if
You have
there
to have a
was a
target
date.
date. Yes.
Yes, that's how my brain has. I have to work towards a date, even if it's not the exact date. But I'm like, if we had a fictional date, what would be your date? And he said August 1st. So I'm like, August 1st it is. So that's my date.
He's like, wait, 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 wait. I was just talking. What are you talking?
Yeah,
She's like, you said it.
that's right. Now my brain is stuck on August 1st, and I'm like, okay, I'm working towards August 1st.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what we all know, certain things kind of trigger us or make us, but what was it that brought you to the decision of exploring moving abroad?
Yes. So there are several reasons. So when I came here in the US 20 years ago, I came for school and I didn't really have an intention to go back to Morocco. Like I was like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
out of here. I'm out. I'm going for school. But I always knew deep down that I would eventually want to go to sub-Saharan Africa. I had never lived in sub-Saharan Africa, even though my parents are from there. But in the
Mhm.
back of my head, I was like, one day, one day, one day. And when I was looking for a mate, I wanted somebody who would have that double culture as well, just like somebody who wouldn't have fully grown up in sub-Saharan Africa because I didn't, and but somebody who would also have a Western culture as well. And it was like I made a list. I have a list, and I still have it of the criteria that I wanted for my husband. And I prayed
Okay.
over the list, and my husband meets all those criteria. And I know it's a God thing because there's no way I would have met somebody like this. And so we're both kind of like in two cultures. And early on, when we started talking, I knew that he wanted to eventually go back to Cameroon, and I
No.
wanted that as well. But the timing was not right. So when we met, I was in college. He was just graduating from his MBA, and so I still had life to do, right? I still had to do things, and then we got married, and then we went into the corporate thing and all of that, and then we just
Yeah.
started talking. Like I think a few years when I started my business on the side, online business, and I got familiar with all the online thing and what we can do online. And then my interest started back up. Like, okay, I think I can do this online thing. And so I started talking to him about it, and he's like, okay, the timing is not right because he had like a typical corporate job. And then fast forward a few years, and COVID happened, and then he was like, okay, he has to switch online. At that time, I had already left my job. So I was a college professor and I had left, and I was doing my business full time online. And he was like, no, not yet, until the big C happened. And he's like, I think I can do this online. And so
Hmm.
that's when we accelerated the whole talk about, okay, where would we go? When would we go? What would we do? And all of that, because now the external elements made it possible for us to even consider it. And so we've been
Yeah.
working towards it since then. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So he didn't buy into it immediately. Like he knew that it was like a far off idea, but it wasn't like something that it was like let's start implementing and doing things now.
Yeah, and actually, he's the one who was more like when we first met. He was the one who was like, "Yeah, we're going back to Cameroon," and I was the one who was like, wait a minute, no, I'm not ready to go back yet. I just got here." To me, it was
Yeah.
like, just like any immigrant coming here, you want to enjoy and you want to have the whole quote unquote American dream process, all of the steps
Yeah.
and everything, and I hadn't reached all the steps yet. And so I was like, not yet. So he was more talking about it at first. And I was like, nah, no, we're not doing that yet. And then he kind of stopped talking about it because we got into the process of, living life. And
Yeah.
that's then when it flipped and it was more me talking about it once I tapped into the
Wow.
online world and all of that. Yeah.
Wow. So and yes, you're known, you're definitely known within our community. I'm from Houston, just in case people don't know. I'm from Houston too, so that's how we originally, it's how me and Linda originally met. Now I
Yes.
live in Zaragoza, Spain, and um, yeah, but I'm still very well connected to the Texas system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we appreciate it.
So during this whole journey, what is something we'll go backwards. So like during this whole journey so far, what has been something that kind of I want to, well, you know what, let's speak honestly about our feelings, scared you the most about making this decision to go for it? Your most
Yeah.
concerning.
I think that there's two fears. One is probably one that most people have is the money situation. What if we run out
Hmm.
of money? What if all of a sudden I can't work the business and all of that? So the money is one. Um, and the second one is the fact that our first son has autism. And so he
Okay.
does speech therapy, occupational therapy. He did physical therapy, but not anymore. And so there are certain needs that he has, and that we're very happy with right now. And at school, he has the whole IEP process and everything. And so now the fear is that are we going to be able to find something similar
Okay.
abroad? Speaking with friends that I have in the UK or in France, and I tell them what my son does, then they're like, that's not something that's available in that level in the UK
Okay.
or in France, and I'm like, oh snap, similar economies, similar cultures, and everything with the US, and I'm like, that's not available,
That's so
that early, and
surprising.
I know, and I was like, man, if not there, then where, right? Where is it going to be
Yes.
available? And I mean, it's available, but not as here it's like by law. Your son is like my son was two at his 2 year old checkup, and the pediatrician is like, he has a little speech delay. Immediately he can go and get services, everything for
Hmm.
free, everything by law. He's supposed to have all of these things. And they're like, nah, that's not the same. You need to go sometimes far away, different, like a town over to find service, and it takes time. And I was like, oh snap, if that's the
Wow.
way it is in Paris, how is it going to be like in Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire? And so that was a big, big, big issue for me. Um, and so we had to be like, okay, let's let's calm down and let's see if there's actually solutions on the ground. So when my husband would go regularly travel to Cameroon because of family and all of that.
Hmm.
So one of the trip he took, he made a point to go and ask the questions to a school, visit the school, ask questions related to not paralegal, paraprofessional at school, and all the things that my son gets here, if it would be available there. On our um, scouting trip to Cote d'Ivoire that we did, same thing. I went to the international school, I asked questions, and not everything was available. So
Hmm.
now I had to be a little more scrappy and be like, okay, there's a big expat community. Somebody has to know how to do that. Somebody's wife might be a therapist. Somebody is a therapist somewhere. And now it had to be more of a, okay, let's get plugged into those WhatsApp groups, those Facebook groups, and ask the questions. And yes,
Yeah.
the other level of difficulty was that it had to be in English. Both countries are French speaking countries. Well, Cameroon is bilingual, but Cote d'Ivoire is
Hmm.
French speaking. Finding those services in English for my son, that's another layer of a challenge. And
Oh,
so I had
okay.
to dig, and finally find a solution. Is that yes, there are some services provided, and two, there's more flexibility because you can hire private tutors to come to the school and be with your child in school. So
Okay.
here, so it's like you have to work it differently. The
Hmm.
system is not the same. Um, and just because it's different doesn't mean that it's bad or that it's not
Yeah.
as good. And
And that,
that's
and just because it's different, or just because it has not been established yet,
mhm,
the way that maybe what you've already experienced doesn't mean it's impossible. And
that's right.
I want everybody to please take a minute to really understand. We hear so many times about how you know I can't because I just it's like that's not possible because
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
talked to so many women, within our community, here in just here in Spain, out, in other pockets, that they have had challenges, but it
mhm,
doesn't mean that the challenge is like makes it not possible.
that's right.
And
That's right.
you to hear your story, and you're telling me like literally they did not have the resources, and you had to go in and create and find out that there is a
Yes.
possibility. There's a way.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah, you
that's
have to craft your own
amazing.
plan. Yeah,
Yes.
you have to look for the
Think
services
outside the
yourself.
box.
Think
Yes.
outside the box, and maybe that will be okay. We have IEPs here. Maybe he won't have IEPs, and being okay with that. Just knowing that,
Mhm.
okay, as a parent, you'll do your own, your own, not checkup, but own testing, or your own,
Mhm.
see the progress that your son is doing. And so that's something that's a modification, I would say, that I'm willing to make. If it's more tutors at home, at the end of the day, it's going to still be very affordable to have tutors at home and at school.
Wow. And again, you because I know, like you said, you organize, like you're putting things in place, and doing the proper follow-up to make sure that it's happening. What has been like as far as your children's reaction to, well, first of all, let me go back. Have
Hmm.
they been to Cote d'Ivoire
No,
and
no,
Cameroon?
they haven't been to Cote d'Ivoire yet. We were supposed to go to Cameroon last summer.
Mhm.
It's a whole it's a whole thing. So for both countries, you have to apply for a visa as a U.S. citizen. Cameroon denied us a visa. Surprisingly, my husband goes there often, but the day he wanted to go
Oh,
with his family, they're like, nope. And so it was a whole ordeal. And then at the end of the day, then they gave us a visa, but it was too late. We had already lost the ticket, so we haven't gone. We haven't gone to
wow.
Cameroon yet.
Did they say why? Or if you don't, I don't know if you can share that,
Yeah,
you know.
it was. We still don't understand why exactly, but I think that they said it's because we needed an authorization from the Department of Defense because my husband is a veteran. However, it's not the first time he goes to Cameroon. So I can understand that maybe they were nervous about something, but he goes often by himself and it's fine. But when he goes with his family, it's a problem. So I still don't
That's
understand.
wild. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
But the
and they're
good
like,
thing
and you
too
don't have to
about,
understand, you just have to do it.
you know,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes, and that's the thing, is like sometimes you, when you have connections, that accelerate things. Like, because if we didn't have connection, we would have just been denied and that's it. They
Yeah.
take our money, send us back the passport. But because we know people who know people who know people, then that made the process possible that, okay, we can still get the visa, even though it was late and everything. But you have to know people who know people who know people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And know something about it. Okay. Yes.
Mhm. Right. It makes your life a
It's
lot easier.
yeah, it's like having that's the network, your core, whether it's core or maybe, a couple of degrees removed, it's like
Yeah.
you're still building that network that, you don't even know that you might have to call on them for insight or assistance, but it's
Yeah.
good. That's why you start
Absolutely.
building your community before you make the move. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
you
Yes.
definitely want to have that in place. So it's not just don't just, think you're going to a country and just be like, I've arrived. Now let's
Yeah.
talk. No, build your
I'm
community,
here.
start that community before.
Yes. 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 For anything, like if it's a business community, if it's like personal community, anything, any kind
Hmm.
of interest, definitely start that before you go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that you said that you've already disclosed about your son and his diagnosis and the challenges. Have the kids overall, what has been their what has been the feedback from your children about this upcoming change in their life?
Well, funny thing is that we haven't told them yet.
Oh,
We
okay.
haven't told them yet. Yeah. We feel like as we're still in the planning process and until we have a specific date and we know, okay,
Okay.
first of all, we know where we're going for sure, and we have a date, then it will be a good time to tell them because they're still small. It's like, it's not like, even if it's like we move somebody else somewhere else, they might get excited and then, oh, where are we going this way? Or, it's like a lot of questions and that we might not have answers to yet.
Okay.
So
When
we
the time
waiting,
is
and
right, you will, yeah,
when the
when the time
time
is
is
right.
right, we'll tell them. Yeah, but they'll be excited because they're not teenagers. They don't have like things that they have to do here, specifically like learning to drive or going to prom or anything like that. It's like, hey, we're going on a trip. Oh, great.
Yeah. So if I guess I am curious though, has it been anything like they're like what's going on? Like if there's like any decluttering or starting to get rid of things that they've been like, why? Has that
I'm
happened?
trying to think because one day my daughter found a YouTube video of mine. And she's like, "Hey, mommy's on YouTube," and, but I don't think she watched the whole video. I think she was just happy to see me on YouTube, and she's like, "How many subscribers do you have?" And so she's not about the content. She's like about the
My
the
mommy's a
appeal of it.
superstar.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, "Oh, calm down, calm down."
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they not yet. One thing that I'm doing though, is like they know they want to go to Cameroon. So because we were supposed to go, like they knew about the trip. So they
Okay.
asked, okay, when are we gonna go to Cameroon again? And when are we gonna go? So to travel as a family, yes, they're aware that we were supposed to go and that we didn't go, and that okay, we're trying to find a time to go again. Um, but as far as like moving, no, no, they're not really aware of it.
Okay. Okay. So you have online businesses. Can you share about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So back in 20, how many years ago? 2013. So I got married in 2012. We got married in 2012, and we were both unemployed. Funny story.
Okay.
And so I left my job because I had to come back to Houston to get married and everything. And so, in the midst of being unemployed, I was looking at YouTube and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life and all that? I'm looking for jobs. And I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it changed everything for me. It made me realize that I could be in control of my own quote unquote destiny. And I
Mm.
started my travel blog because I wanted to talk about travel all the time. And so I built the business, I built a travel website, a blog from scratch, and I called it Tokende. So that's where Tokende is from.
Oh, Tokende Travels. Yes.
Tokende
Okay.
travel,
Yes.
yes. Tokende means let's go in Lingala, my parents' dialect. Well, it's not my parents' dialect, it's the Congolese main dialect, but my parents are not
Hmm.
like, they speak another one. And so just started writing about it, filming a few YouTube videos about it. Like if you go on my channel and you look like 7, 8, 9 years ago, I was doing like unpacking videos, and it was just for fun. It wasn't like I was
Yeah.
looking for monetization. I didn't know anything about that. And then I got a job back in academia, and so I kind of let that go to the side. And then I retook it again when I was like, dissatisfied with academia and I wanted something else. I was like, okay, let me focus on the side business. And that's where I changed the angle. I went from, okay, being a travel blogger and I wanted to help moms travel with their kids because I was very organized and I was traveling with toddlers with like one carry on bag. And people were like, what? How do you do that? And I wanted
Girl.
to share.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'll have a video about that on my channel. And I was like, yeah, it's just packing, and I love to pack. And so even now when we travel, I like to I give myself a challenge to pack everything in one carry-on. And my husband has his own thing, but me with the kids, we have our own thing, and it's like I just love it. And so
I
I
aspire.
yeah, if I wanted to carry on only, I can do it with the kids as well. Um, but so I worked on that. That was the business idea, but I wasn't really getting a lot of traction. And so I pivoted. One thing that I did is, and this is where I tell everybody, it, your business doesn't have to be complicated. I was in a mastermind and that's when I was pregnant with my twins. Morning sickness, terrible, blah, blah. And I started planning content. I was taking like these big whiteboards from Walmart and making those like as calendars. And I started planning my content in advance because I couldn't really post every day. I was sick all the time. And I showed it to the ladies in the mastermind. I'm like, yeah, these are okay. I plan my content for the next 3 months and all that. And they're like, wait a minute, how do you do that? Show us how you do that. I'm like, this? It's just planning. For me, it's like building a puzzle. I just love to create content, to map out content.
Wow.
And they're like, we want that. That's what we want. And so that's how it started. That's how I pivoted from travel blogging to content marketing, mapping. And I built my business on that, all about how to map out content. And to me, it's still crazy to me because it's something that I do in my sleep and people want it. And that's why I tell people it's the thing that you take for granted. That's what people really want. And so I've been doing it for the past 7 years, full time,
Okay.
in
That
different
is
ways.
absolutely well because I mean, you just totally one up me, but because I was like, I plan my my productivity, and you're like, I do that in my sleep, girl.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not jealous at all. No, okay. No, we all have to start somewhere. And so for me to start in my realm of just saying,
Yeah.
okay, I know I'm blocking off my 2 hours or whatever, every
Mhm.
day. So, and I have actually been on my productivity calendar. Literally, I wake up and I start with, I'm now using Dreaming Spanish. So
Oh,
it's like videos and stuff that you watch, and you're not like it's no testing. You're just, it starts from super beginner to like intermediate. But you watch the videos, and they're very like it's completely in Spanish, but you're understanding what they're saying because they might be drawing or they might put on little skits, whatever it is. But
oh,
there's like,
yeah.
the videos are anywhere from like 5 minutes. Some are like maybe eight, maybe 10 minutes.
Oh,
No more than 15 minutes. I haven't seen any more than
okay.
15 minutes, and it tracks your progress. But
Oh,
my production, on my productivity calendar, I literally have like 9 to 10 Spanish. So while I'm like maybe cleaning my kitchen or whatever, I'm literally have my on my tripod, have my phone right there, looking at the
yeah.
videos and making sure I'm paying attention to what they're saying. And I didn't think, I was like, I've tried all these other ones. I am actually picking it up very,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I'm
Oh,
still
I
new,
love it.
but yeah, but it's just that just to organizing yourself and saying, okay, part of your
Mhm,
organization is going to
mhm.
be your commitment that every day during the week you're going to watch at least do at least 1 hour of some kind of like something that's going to help you with your Spanish.
That's
So putting
right.
that,
That's right.
in place. So yes, organizing your life.
Yes,
So,
yes. You
so
have to put it on the calendar, or else it's not going to happen.
wow. And okay, because I've seen those content calendars, it's overwhelming to me. Okay. I'm like, you really want me to do all that? Okay. And you're like, no, it's fun. Let
It's
me
fun. It's like building a puzzle to me. And I mean, there's a simplified version, there's a more advanced, complicated version. It depends on what you want to do. But yeah, that's what I do. That's one of my
yeah.
businesses is what I do.
Just
Yeah.
leaning into your strengths because other people don't want to do it. Because they're like, nope, I can delegate that to somebody else. And you're like, I can do it. I'm good at that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's this one. Then you know, it's funny how you start a business. Sometimes you start it out of necessity, like, or sometimes it's just people telling you, "Hey, we want this." And just now, what I'm doing now with my new YouTube channel. Well, it's not a new YouTube channel, but the angle that I have now. 2 years ago, I started talking about this whole process of moving back to Africa, and I didn't go on YouTube to talk about it because I wanted to start a business about it. I just wanted to talk about it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about it. There was no business angle at all. I wanted to release what I had in my heart. I didn't know if there were other people like me out there who wanted to move their family to Africa. And I was like, I just have to say it. I just have to say it and share it with the world because it was just me and my husband talking about it, and with some girlfriends I was talking about it. And she was like, one of my friends, she's like, just put it on YouTube. And I did. And I just had conversation for a whole year. I didn't have something to offer because that wasn't the angle. The angle was just to share what we were doing and how we were planning until it was there was evidence of, okay, but how financially, how do you make that happen? Oh, well, I have an online business. Okay, so how do you get that started? All right, I'll teach you. So that's how it came about. Now that I incorporate okay, start an online business so that you can fund your life abroad. But it's not like I started
Hmm.
like, oh, let's create businesses so that you can. No, I just
Yeah.
shared what we were doing, and there was an ask for how do you do that, and I answered the call for that. So
Yeah.
that's my second. It's kind of like not similar, but it's still like a same similar type of business. It's a coaching business where I teach people something, whether
Hmm.
it's strictly content marketing or starting an online business. And now I'm starting something else that has nothing to do with it, but again, it's still answering a need, and it's all about debt-free college education. I wrote a book 10 years ago about how to go to college debt-free, no student loans, because that's what I did. And I did it as an international student. And I didn't know people didn't know about it. And my husband was like, "You better write the book." I'm like, "Nah, people know about this. So who am I
Mm-mm.
to write about that?" It's like, "No,
I'm here to
people
tell you,
don't. I
girl.
have student loans." And I'm like, "You did?" So I wrote a book about it. It's on Amazon, and now I am creating a course about it. It's not something I'm passionate about, but it's something people ask me about. So I talk about it at conferences, at church, and all that. And so I'm putting together a course that will be available for people to go through it and to know everything that I know and how I did it. And so that's my third branch.
Wow. And so like even locating cozy, this was not meant to be any kind of business at all.
Uh-huh.
Um, I just like you, I am just literally sharing my experience from the time I let my apartment go in January of 2023, going
Yeah.
even further back to when I actually discovered this whole realm of Black women that were either already doing it or had the same idea that I had about
Yep.
not paying, $2,000 a month rent in an apartment and not having maybe a car payment and, just all
Mm.
these things. And I just wanted to get on YouTube and just talk about it, just share in a
Yes.
way to like stay connected with family and friends and, and that was
Exactly.
it. And then
Yeah.
I had some women, some Black women that came to Spain in October, and it
Mhm.
was small, but it was wonderful. It was absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful, and I love showcasing Zaragoza and even showcasing certain parts of Madrid. I love Madrid,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
after that, I learned, and it was stressful. I loved it, but it was also
Mhm.
stressful because people were missing
Mm.
trains.
Oh,
Somebody didn't get a hotel that was close to where they were supposed to, like to the central area. There were all
yeah.
these
Yeah.
factors, and I actually had called Danica from H&D Abroad, and I was like, "Girl, I don't know about this." Ooh, and like, "You ain't doing that no more." I'm like, "No, I think I am. I think I can do it better."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. That's the problem. It's like flagrant in front of you, and you're like, you got
Yeah.
to do something.
Yes. And so between, you know, my, contract jobs and stuff that I do get, and I'm very happy about that because I love accounts receivable. I love business to business accounts receivable. That's my jam.
Uh-huh.
Been doing it for years.
Mm.
But also I'm the researcher and resolver. So when I saw some issues that could have been maybe handled another way, I was like, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it better. I'm going to make it in a way that whoever comes doesn't have to worry about anything
That's
once they get
right.
off that plane.
That's right.
They
That's
Yeah, so
right.
it's like it's already working and stuff. So I'm already starting to take some steps to yeah, I'm taking some steps. Stay tuned. Okay. And if you want to know what's going on and stay up to date, make sure that in the description below, you do subscribe to the emails. And when you do subscribe to the email notifications that I will be sending out pertaining to Spain and Zaragoza, you will actually get a download for a moving abroad, or moving to Spain checklist that
Love
will come
it.
to you immediately. So do that in the description below. Okay. So, anyways, okay, all that to say, sometimes what we just are enjoying and sharing becomes something that actually can bring in the revenue because you're providing some information or insight or services
Yeah,
that is needed. You are solving a problem.
that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be hard for you. Like your business doesn't have to be something that's a whole headache for you to do. You enjoy planning trips? Hey, you can make a business about that. You
Yeah.
enjoy playing music? Hey, you can make a business about that. It doesn't have to be hard for you to provide a service. Right? It doesn't have to
Yeah.
come at an exchange of your sanity or things like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly. So, when starting an online business, is there like maybe some key steps, like, so here's what I've seen, and I've been
Mhm.
I've been guilty of it too. I want to start this business. But first, I have to do all these certifications. But first, I have to,
Nope.
get this proper insurance. But first, I have to go open up a bank account. It's like, let's start with some basic steps that you feel like
Mm-hmm.
if you have the idea and the tenacity to actually go for it and start providing a service or product that
Mm-hmm.
is going to be beneficial that will actually bring you an income. What do you think some of the steps that people need to really take first
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
starting an online business?
And I'm going to assume again that this is a business that is based on your knowledge. So it's going to be a service-based business, like you said, where you're
Hmm.
teaching somebody something. So it's not like you are going to you're teaching something based on what you already know. You don't need to add any more knowledge to the pot in order to teach. You can teach with what you already have. And so the first thing you have to do is to see if there's a need for it. Market
Your
research.
research.
Is there a need for what you want to offer? Sometimes, just like in our two examples, the need came to us. We didn't ask for it.
Hmm.
We right, but people
Yep.
were asking for it. People were asking questions. Okay, how do you do that? How do you do that? Like what? Or like it was flagrant. People were falling apart in front of you, and you're like, that could have easily been done differently, right? The need
Hmm.
is there in front of you, and so because there's a need, now you can solve that problem. And so the first thing you have to do is not go get a certification, is not go get some kind of license. I mean, again, depending on what industry you're in, but
Yeah.
based on the fact that you are offering a service, either you're doing it for them, or you're doing it with them, or you're teaching it and you're packaging it as a course, as a digital product, none of the certifications or anything like that are necessary. Okay. And again, I'm not an attorney and I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a tax expert. So do your own due
Disclaimer.
diligences.
Disclaimer. Okay, this is
Disclaimer.
for
Yeah,
entertainment and insight only. Okay, go
that's
ahead.
right.
Okay.
That's thank you. So that's what you have to do is find, now you have to go and find your people, find your audience, find the people who have those needs. Ask with the people who have directly asked you, like, how do you do that? Oh, I'll show you how to do that in exchange for money. Okay, that could be
Mhm.
your first client. And you don't need to have anything done, photo shoots or websites or anything like that for your first clients, because that's the proof of concept. The first clients, you don't really know what you're doing. You're testing it. You don't know how you're going to frame your business yet. You are in the testing season. So the first one, two, three, four, five clients, you're still testing. You're trying to figure out, okay, do you like doing this? Do you like helping people this way? Maybe you're gonna do one-on-ones, but you're like, I don't like to work one with people. Maybe I want to do a group. So you're still testing, and with that, you don't need certifications. You just need to get more clients to test your framework with, your product with, your system with. And once you frame it, then you can formalize everything. Now you can have all the LLC. When now you can have the photo shoots or the website or all that. I still don't have
Yeah.
a website for Tokende. Okay. And it's been, I don't know, 2 years with this new business. For the content marketing, yes, I have a website and everything. But for what I do now, we're helping you start a business. My website is YouTube, right?
Mm, that's
You don't
and
need
what it
a
comes down
formal
to
website.
is, yeah, I'm still I'm a work in progress, but it's true. What it comes down to, and somebody actually just told me this in one of my accountability groups. They were like, "You're like you trying to build a website. Your LinkedIn is saying everything that you need to say regarding my accounting services." They're like,
Mhm.
"Yes, it's great, but don't not
Yeah.
do something because you're like first." And this was just last week. Okay,
Mhm.
that somebody
Mhm.
called me out and was like, "What you doing? What do you mean
Yeah.
you can't do anything until you build a website when you got a whole big LinkedIn
Mm-mm.
that says everything that you've
Yeah.
done?" Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't, and websites, when you go, not all of them, but a lot of the websites are set in stone. We don't update those websites.
Hmm.
So if you see somebody's website and they have certain services, maybe they don't even offer those services anymore. And so does it mean that you can work with them? No, it's just like, okay, what is the most up-to-date information that you can get from them? You get it on social media. You get it on LinkedIn. You get it on YouTube. You can get. That's
Hmm.
where you get the fresh information, not a website that they created 10 years ago. So there's you can have one eventually. It's good to have, but you don't need it to get started. To get started, you need to
Yeah.
get clients right away. Test with a few clients and then establish yourself. Build one platform, one social media platform. I recommend YouTube because it's the easiest in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, and go with it, and just start sharing content, sharing,
Yeah.
sharing content, sharing content for free, and then you'll get more clients.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, and what's funny is, I I think I have, I don't know, 50 videos up now. It might be less. I don't know. But
Ah.
I remember getting in my feelings because I was like, I just got to 500 subscribers, and I was like, yay! And then I was like, girl, had you been more consistent with your postings, you would have been at like 1,500 by now. But I had to remember, I had to remember one thing: me sharing my experiences and talking about me, what I've gone through to move here to Spain and all that, was not
Mm,
for subscribers. It was to
that's right.
share.
That's
And with
right.
that, now that I'm becoming known as this there's a lot of Black women here that have moved here, but I just talk about it a lot more online.
Yes.
But because
Yes.
of that, yeah, I I would like to just parlay. It's not about the number of people; it's just the people hearing and knowing
Hmm.
that, okay, so
Hmm.
now when it's time for me to possibly move to Spain or consider Zaragoza,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
um,
That's
I
right.
know I can reach out to Yolanda from Locating Cozy, and she can actually provide better insight, and she could probably provide me all the information that I need. And so I think I want to see if I can utilize her services.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't need thousands and thousands. I mean, I appreciate it, don't get me wrong, but I don't
Yeah.
need thousands and thousands of followers. What I
Right.
need is people to see and know that there's somebody here that can help create a soft landing for you, so you don't feel
That's
like
right.
just totally out of pocket when you get here. That's my
That's
goal.
right. Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm not monetized on YouTube. I'm
Mhm.
not monetized yet. But I have clients that came through YouTube. So the numbers, like it's great, the
Listen up, people.
subscribers and it's all that is it's great. Sure, it's another income stream that you can thrive for. I mean, sure, it's great. But it doesn't mean that you cannot build a business. I mean, it doesn't mean that you need to reach again, get something and
Yeah.
then start a business. No. Start with what you have now. And sometimes it might not even be that you're going to have the first clients are going to be online. Maybe they're at church with you. Maybe they are your neighbor. Maybe they are your mom's friends. You don't have to wait for a certain threshold for you to start getting clients. So
Yeah.
yeah, those numbers are good, but this is not. It's a byproduct of you doing what you're supposed to do, which is sharing your message.
Yes. Just speaking on it and saying how wonderful it is. And again, it's so funny because people are like, I want to come, to Zaragoza. I want to come to Spain, or I haven't even Zaragoza wasn't even on my radar. And I
Yeah.
make sure I'm honest about it, because I'm like, it's great, but don't think you're gonna come over here and just plop down and be like, done. No. Okay. There's a journey. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
journey
That's right.
that it is
That's right.
that's involved here. So yeah, it's work. It is a work. It's a process and stuff. But
Absolutely.
now that I've gone through it, and now that I'm talking to some other women that have made the move over here or trying to figure things out, we're still
Mhm.
getting information. And I swear by my attorney, so he must have listened here.
Mhm.
But I don't want to sugarcoat it and make it sound like it's just easy, and just one, two, three, snap your fingers and you're just moved. There's a whole journey there.
Mhm.
But whether it's your business, we're trying to help solve a problem to make it just less of a burden.
That's right. That's right.
So
Absolutely.
how do you okay so how do you do all this? Because I'm like, you got businesses, you got family, you trying to move. How are you staying organized? I know that you're like, you're like great at organization, but something that just kind of makes it possible for somebody else looking in.
Well, it's not all organized. It's not. It's not,
She's like, it
it's
ain't.
not all organized. You can
It's
see
real
this
life.
frame, right? It looks very neat. It looks very neat, because you see this frame, but you don't see that on this bed. I have two loads of laundry on the bed right now. Literally, I can turn the camera.
Hmm.
You don't see that I have pajama bottoms on. Uh, you don't see that I haven't had breakfast yet. It's not perfect. There's no such thing. You do
Thank
what
you
you
for
can
that.
with what you have, and I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. It's priorities. You were talking about your whiteboard. My whiteboard is here so to tell me what to do, because I get distracted too, and sometimes I'm like, "Ooh, I should do this. I should do something on Canva." And I don't like Canva, but I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should do this. Oh, let me do that. Oh, somebody talked about that on Instagram. Maybe I should try a funnel. Oh, maybe I should try building this. Oh, a webinar. That sounds great. Let me do that." I get
It's
distracted with a lot of
information
things. And
overload
so,
sometimes.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I have to stay I try to stay as grounded as possible. And I try to have my to-do list of everything because that's how, me personally, that's how I can stay on track with things. It doesn't always work because we're not perfect, but I like to know why I'm doing certain things. I'm an Enneagram 3. I need to know why I'm doing certain work before I start. And so that's why I like to plan things in advance and I know if what is relevant. I can plan all day
Mhm.
long, but just because it's planned doesn't mean that I need to do it. Planning a
Yep.
trip that I want to take to Paris in June because I am supposed to go to Paris in June, doing it now doesn't make any kind of sense. It's not a priority.
Yeah.
But yesterday I was on Google Flights and I was looking and I was like, ooh, daydreaming about it. But it's not a
Hmm.
priority, right? And so I try, one thing that I like to do every night before I go to bed is plan my list for the next day. So I do like a weekly. So I have a weekly for the whole week, what I'm supposed to do every day, my meetings and everything. But the night before, I also focus more on, okay, not the whole week, don't look at the whole week, Linda. Just look at tomorrow. And this is the order of priority. I may have a lot of things to do today, but not everything is a high priority. If I can only do one
Hmm.
thing, what is one thing I must do? And I put a little red thing on it next to it, and I'm like, this has to be done. Um, and that's how I I manage to jump from one thing to another. And sometimes it's the marriage that I'm not taking care of very well. Sometimes it's the motherhood and I'm snapping on my kids a lot. Sometimes it's the laundry, or sometimes it's the cooking and we're ordering more than I want. And sometimes it's me. It's I don't take care of myself, or it's not everything is balanced. There's no such thing as
Yeah.
okay, everything is equal. And so you have to give yourself some grace and say, you know what? Today, all I could do was send an email, and that's good enough. That's
Yep.
good enough.
That, oh man, that is such good advice because I have, like, I'm so proud that I have created this whole productivity thing. But then on Saturday, um, I laid up on the couch and didn't
Hmm.
do a thing. Okay. And I was like, you deviated from your productivity schedule. I was kind of kicking myself. And then I laid up on the couch again on Sunday until it was time to go
Yeah.
live. I got up, I created my thumbnail, I created the description and stuff, and then I was like, and this movie looks good.
There
So
you go.
just just random stupid horrible production of some Lifetime movie and stuff. I was like, I think I need to watch
Oh,
that today.
okay. I not.
So sometimes things fall by the wayside. It is not, I'm proud what I'm doing because I have been very
Mhm.
productive, make no mistake. But also, again,
Yeah.
like you said, give yourself grace. You are not a
Yeah.
robot. We are human
That's right.
beings.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
And
And
sometimes your
sometimes,
body's gonna, yeah, sometimes your body's gonna be like shut down on you. Last week, on out of all days, on my birthday, I got the flu out of nowhere.
oh
I
wow.
never get sick. My kids weren't sick. My husband wasn't sick. I don't know where I got it from. On my birthday, I was shivering in bed, and to me, I'm like, I had things that I had planned. I had a lot of plans for that day. I had a lot of plans for that week. But my body said, no, you're staying in bed. And so I take it as, you know what? It's meant to be. I'm not supposed to be like going all the time. And it had to be the flu to keep me to keep me down.
It's
Right.
like
And
go sit down
so
somewhere.
yes,
Go sit down.
literally.
You gonna be
Yep.
still. I'm gonna make you be still. Okay.
That's right. We'll make you get still by force. And that's what happened. So
Yeah.
yeah, give yourself some grace. Sometimes, you you have to live a little, okay? Not everything is all about productivity or about making things happen, or you gotta live a little. Sometimes you have to stay up till 2 a.m. to watch Lost reruns.
It's required. Okay. It's required.
You gotta.
Okay. I will say I remember there's pockets of things that I remember very, very when I started, like as far as jobs and coming into the management field of my jobs. And I remember I would get so stressed because I have this long to-do list. And I
Mm,
remember one of the managers or supervisors was like, if you get through 3 items today, you're doing good. And I'm like,
mm,
really? I'm like, yeah, really. Yeah, really.
uh,
So, because I know sometimes I know also I can go down a rabbit hole, like, it'll be something that is like on my to-do list. And I was like, 3 hours later, I'm like, but I still need to, I can make it better. And
yes,
you have to tell yourself, girl, stop.
that's it.
You just,
That's it.
yeah, let's stop, step back. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you have it on your calendar for a few, like 3 days, um, so that you can step away and then come back. And
That's right.
sometimes when you step away, you get that clarity. So when you go
Absolutely.
back, and you go
Yep.
back and you
Yep.
sit down and you're like, okay, all right, let's. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Yep, it's
Exactly.
real.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's very true. Yep. Yep. Yep.
It says, so you have right now, you have your Vlogmas. I tried to keep up last year. I couldn't. I tried. But so walk us through, because I know, can you kind of talk about your um, social? Well, okay. So you have the Vlogmas where you do, what is it, every day for
Yeah.
30 days for all of December?
Yeah.
But you
Every
were
day
planning
till
like 90 days of social media content and 30. Okay. See, okay. Let's start with the Vlogmas.
yeah. So
Okay.
Vlogmas is basically a vlog every day for the first 25 days. So leading up to Christmas. So it's vlogging Christmas Vlogmas, and I guess it's a YouTube challenge that's been going on for a few years now, where you post something related to Christmas every day. Now, it doesn't have to be specifically related to Christmas, but it could be like going Christmas shopping, getting your tree, going to, you know, parties, whatever it is, leading up to the 25th. Some people go all the way to the 31st of December, but that's in essence, that's the thing. And so yeah, the plan, again, like we said, the plan was to participate in Vlogmas. I did it last year, like maybe halfway. This year, today is the third, and I haven't started yet.
Okay.
What I did the past 2 months, I did another challenge. So in September, I did a post every day, post a reel every day on Instagram. I'm not a huge fan of Instagram, but I needed to tell myself why I'm not a huge fan. I needed to work it before I give up on it. And I worked it every day.
Okay.
And I'm very happy I did what I had to do. I played the rules. They told me jump and turn around and touch your nose. That's what Instagram tells you to do. And I did it. I did everything that Instagram told me to do. And that's why I don't like Instagram. Well, I was like, I didn't want to say, I just don't like it. I needed to try it. And so I
Okay.
tried it and I did what they told me to do. And okay, I was like, okay, I'm done with that. November was no edit November. So for Jazz Nomad, and
Hmm.
a few other people as well, she's the one who really got me into the challenge. We posted a video every single day on YouTube for the month of November. But the thing was that you had to be a no edit. So no excuse, just come as you are, get in front of your phone, film something, and then you post it. It doesn't need to have the flashing, the words, the here, the that. No. And so that's what we did for November.
That's why I like
And
this right here because I ain't editing crap. I'm not. Okay. I'm not editing. I learned about this whole world of just pre-recording and having the back. Girl, I'm not editing. I'm not doing it.
right?
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. And so it's super convenient because one of the things that makes me, annoys me a little bit about YouTube is the whole editing. I do not like editing my videos. And so it takes me a lot of time to do it. And so it defeats the purpose of being consistent on it. Excuse me. So the whole no edit November was awesome, awesome, awesome. And so now next December is supposed to be Vlogmas. So with Dee and Kiana,
Mhm.
Jazz as well, and a few other ladies, we planned our Vlogmas content. So we're ready. We're ready. And
Okay.
but I haven't
I think
started.
when you asked me or D asked me, and I was like, nah. Yeah, I go live for an hour and a half now, twice a week. That's good. Okay, I'm good.
So yeah, that's the plan. It's planned. It's here. It's on the calendar. But plans sometimes change.
Okay.
So I'm still. Yesterday I was thinking about it, and I think today I'm still gonna be thinking about it and see if I still want to do it. So
Okay.
I'm in the process of evaluating my strategy for December, because September, November I did it, but it was more to do it, and I told myself that now I would do it, but with the strategy, like strategically, more on the
Mhm.
strategy than on the quantity, and so that's what I'm reevaluating. So I should have an answer by the end of the day to see if I'm
You
doing
know
my
what? We
own
reserve
version
the
of
right
what.
to pivot.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. So I might pivot a little bit, um,
I changed
but
my
I'm gonna
mind.
do
That's fine.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we'll
yeah. It's
see.
not like you're not doing nothing. I know you. Okay, it's not like you're not doing nothing. Okay, you just may not
You
do.
know
You may
me.
or may not do that.
That's right. That's right. I'm doing something, but it might not look like Vlogmas. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I I know this, but I'm sure people are going to still want to know. How has social media helped you connect with other like-minded families?
It was tremendous. It's been tremendous because I didn't know that there were other people like me out there, and that's why I love
Mm,
YouTube. It's like, to me, it was just, and it's like you're in space and you're just sending a message and you don't know who's going to receive the message, and so many people with similar stories, and I was like,
yeah.
where are these people coming from? And it's like, wow, that's the beauty of YouTube. It's like you can
Hmm.
share one video, share your story, share who you are. You come as you are on YouTube. There's no filters, it's you. And other people, and YouTube will bring you those people, like-minded
Yes.
people, people who, a lot of people in my subscriber count are in Cote d'Ivoire. A lot of people are in Cameroon. A lot of people are here are single Black women or African families who, just like me, came here for school and now they want to go back. Or it's crazy. It's like I could have never
Wow.
found these people, but YouTube found them for me. And so I YouTube is the thing. It's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, what I said about Instagram, yeah, sure. But they want you to dance and touch your nose and turn around and bend and all of these things. I'm not willing to do all this, right? It's great. It works for some people, and I'm happy for them, but it doesn't work for my style. So YouTube it is
Okay.
all day, every day.
And it really, I've noticed, whenever because I now know how to check because I wasn't checking my comments for like the longest time. I didn't know. It was like once I had,
Oh,
if there was like a video from a month or so ago, it's like if it went down the total polls, I just didn't see it. So once I
yeah,
actually figured out, like I can actually check to see all the comments from all the videos,
yeah.
and it was just so beyond inspirational of,
Mm,
women just, saying it's like, oh wow, I really needed to hear this. I needed to find out why I deserve to like locate my cozy. I needed to find out that I'm not alone and somebody that's
yeah.
talking to you They needed somebody that's talking to you, talking to them like I do, like when I sound like big mama, big sister, auntie, somebody that's
Yes,
talking to you like, girlfriend, stop. What are you doing?
that's right.
They needed that, and I'm glad. It's how it comes across is just my personality, but
Hmm.
if it's inspiring someone to make moves, to put
Yeah,
themselves first and find joy, then I'll be
yeah.
big mama, I'll be big sister, I'll be big
There
auntie,
you
or
go.
auntie whatever, auntie locating cozy. Yes, I
Yes,
will.
that's
Okay.
right. That's right. Yes, yes, yes. And that's the beauty of it. You come as you are, like you said, and people resonate with you. And I
Hmm.
think that a lot of people, like even for business, a lot of people are don't want to start because they're like, oh, somebody else is already doing that. It doesn't matter. Um,
Girl,
we
I
could be doing the
know.
exact same thing, but we're different because we're different people. Like in essence, I could be like, I had a Facebook group on content marketing, right, for all of that. I had people in my group doing the same thing that I do,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter because my personality is different. Like some people will gravitate towards me, other people will gravitate towards them, and there's enough for everybody. So you
Yes.
that's why you have to show up as you are. Your personality, some people will like your personality, and they will want to work with you and hang out with you, or they will want to hang out with somebody else who's maybe more quiet or more extroverted, whatever it is.
Hmm.
But that's why you have to show up as you
Yes.
are, and that's how you attract your people. Yeah.
Yes. It's online. There's services offers, and there people offer services, and if you're good at it, if you're developing and honing in on your skills to provide that right type of service, there's no such
Hmm.
thing as oversaturation.
That's right.
It's like as long as you
That's
know
right.
what you have to offer and that you are honing in and focused in on the type of clientele that you want, there is no
Hmm.
such thing as
Hmm.
oversaturation in my mind. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
yeah, it's so funny. Like I'll give case in point. My youngest daughter who lives here is virtual assistant.
Mhm.
Okay. And you hear that all the time, the word virtual assistant. But the thing
Uh-huh.
is, um, she has a very specific niche and she only needs so many clients. She's not necessarily needing to scale up to, take over the
Uh-huh.
world. She's a
Uh-huh.
virtual assistant who has a specific clientele and she
Yep.
has her, whatever amount of clients that she needs to live well.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
So
love
yeah,
it.
everybody's like, well, everybody's a virtual assistant. People need them.
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to have your angle, and that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
but
focus is on accounts receivable. This is what I do. I love it.
mhm.
I don't have an urge to take over the world and build a $1 billion empire. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, no. Let me not. I don't need that because I don't need that stress. I like my happy, relaxed life. But yeah, I only need so many clients to be able
Hmm.
to do that and do it well and be
Yeah,
comfortable.
exactly.
Be very, very comfortable.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
there's accounts receivable managers, management. That's everywhere. Every company should have. If you're extending
Exactly.
payment
Yeah.
terms to a client, every company. So there's no such thing as oversaturation. You just need somebody to come in and help you manage
Absolutely.
it and solve the problem.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so we're almost out of time. I know that you got things to do, and so I'm so glad that you are here. Um, so you see yourself like staying, like once you do go, staying in Africa long term, or do you feel like you might do a bit more bopping, or what do you see?
That's a great question. So what we've decided is that we're not saying that, okay, we're living forever and we're staying there forever because that will be a lot of pressure to make it work. What
Yeah.
we know is that we have our eyes on Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, so we're not really looking anywhere else. But for such a move that, at a minimum, we'll be there for 2 years because
Okay.
staying for a year and then coming back, no. At the minimum, it will be 2 years. We're saying, okay, let's do 3 to 5 and see if we like it and we stay longer. Eventually, if we like, Cameroon is like the end vision, like because it's home for my husband. So we eventually
Hmm.
want to go there, not forever, but we want to be there at some point. So Cote d'Ivoire, it would be a softer landing because the transition is, in terms of development and infrastructure and things like that, is more advanced than Cameroon. So living
Okay.
from Houston to going to Abidjan will be more comfortable, quote unquote, than going to Yaoundé, Cameroon from Houston. Okay, so that's
Okay.
why that could be a good transition to start with Cameroon, with Cote d'Ivoire, and then going to Cameroon, if you wanted to do it that way. But we're not saying it's forever. We're keeping the house here, renting it out. We have family here. At some point, if it's just me, I would say let's go to Cote d'Ivoire for like 10 years, and then go somewhere else. I don't necessarily want to come back here, to leave here. I know I want to come back to see family and all of that,
Yeah.
but not necessarily to leave here, at this point in our life. Like, for the kids to go to college, that's in the book, by the way. They can definitely come back here for grad school, which is my recommendation. You don't need to do undergrad in the US. A lot of the things that is done in undergrad in the US is done in high school abroad. So I
Mm-hmm.
would
Mm.
encourage them to go to college abroad for undergrad and then come here for grad school. Yeah. So
You need
that
to
would
make sure you
be
send me that link for your book. Please.
absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, I put all of her, all of Linda's, Dr. Linda's information will be is in the description below. So check that out. We got links to her YouTube, her Instagram, the Freedom Business Academy membership.
That's
What's that?
right. That's right. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I have a
And
membership where I help women get started with their online business and having that ongoing support. So it's not just a 1 day thing or a 3 day, because life happens. Sometimes you're hardcore on the business, and then life happens, or the holiday season, and then you want to get back in. So it's ongoing. Whenever you're ready, you're there. We're here for you, and we have a nice little sisterhood in there.
wow, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, this has been wonderful. Yes,
Yes.
this has been great. I'm so glad that we decided to go ahead and do this recording today. Yes,
Yes.
this is a
Me
wonderful
too. That
game
was really,
changer.
really
So I just want to say, yes, I do appreciate, you taking the time to hang out with me and sharing your gems and knowledge. And, hopefully this information is going to help someone else make moves, make positive moves for themselves to better make their lives even better. And so
Yes.
anything else? Did I forget anything? Did I need to bring up something?
I don't know, but thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. So fun. And you know what? I really want to encourage people out there. Um, it's scary. It's definitely scary. I made a move abroad coming here. I came by myself. It was a different circumstance, obviously, but I didn't know anybody. I didn't know a soul. I mean, I had a brother in a different state, and I made it work. You adapt. You have strength already that you're going to tap into, and you already have a network. You already have a sisterhood with the
Hmm.
Exodus Summit ladies. I don't think there's anywhere in the world you would go and there's not somebody that you can, an existing network of other Black women. And
Yeah.
so tap into that. And if you have to do it afraid, do it afraid. You don't have to do it. You don't have to wait not to be afraid in order for you to do it.
Hmm.
It's okay to do it afraid. We're all
Yep.
doing it afraid.
You got to
Every
go through
every
it to get to it. You got to go through it to
That's
get
right.
to it. You
That's
have to.
right. Prepare what you can prepare, but there are things, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. And just make sure you have that support system, whether it's at home or where you're going, and you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
All right. Well, again, you guys, make sure that you like and subscribe for this particular episode and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, yeah. So make sure that you give thumbs up on there. Make comments below if it wasn't a comments below, feedback regarding this interview, because this was a good one. So hey, thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you soon.